Hello, welcome everyone. This is Patty Bennett. I am very excited that you are joining me today. We're going to be talking about tips for creating these beautiful sunflower cards. I have used the Stampin Up Stampin Blends on these cards, and I think they just turned out really pretty. So I am hoping that you'll learn something and that you'll enjoy some tips. And if you're joining me live, please leave me a comment so that I know that you're here. Hi, Donna. Okay, great. At least I know that I am on. So if you see the little red live button right up here, that means that you're catching me live on Facebook. And if you don't see that little red live button anymore, that's fine. It just means you're watching the replay later, which is totally okay. I'm happy to have you either way, live or watching a replay. Maybe you're on my blog at pattystamps.com. Maybe you're on my YouTube channel. I'm just happy that you're here. So hey, Grace, Marilyn, Kimberly, Laddie, Barbara, Linda, Lynn, Karen, yay, okay. So excited that you're joining me. I absolutely love this Celebrate Sunflowers bundle from Stampin' Up. It's new in the 2021 catalog. Let me just show it to you inside the catalog in case you don't know where it is. So it's part of the Flowers for Every Season suite, and then when you flip over to page 13, it's right here. This is the stamp set. You can purchase the set separately, or you can purchase a bundle that includes the dies and the stamp set, and that's 10% off, and you can see that with the little 10% logo. So it's page 13. When I get done with this video, I am going to put the link up at the top to link you right to that in my blog post and my store in case you are looking to purchase it. Okay, so this card right here is on my blog today, and I thought this turned out really pretty with this gold foil overlay. So I wanted to show you how to create this sunflower. And then this one will be on my blog tomorrow, and it has a lot of fun shading. I'm going to show you how I did that with the Stampin' Blends. Okay, so let's get started. Great, I'm just looking at comments. Oh, I'm so happy that you're catching me live. Faith and Terry, Margene, Sandy, Susan, Jeanette. Oh my goodness. Hey, Sam. Yes, I know. This bundle is like definitely a runaway favorite. Just beautiful. So here is the stamp set, and here are the dies. Don't mind all these little Post-it note things. I don't know if you do this, but when I go to die cut, I like to have this little Post-it flag, and I use it to stick down over my image just so that it doesn't jump on the machine at all. And that's why I have flags on some of these. So by the way, yesterday I did a video, a live here on my channel, talking about how I label and store and organize all my dies and my embossing folders. So if you missed that here on my Facebook Live channel or on my YouTube channel, you can catch that video about organizing tips for, well, I did a lot of organizing tips for the everything in my craft room. I was showing lots of different tips, but you can go see that video if you want the links to all those products. Alrighty. Oh, yay. Good. Margene says she has that. Awesome. Okay, so what I did, let's talk about this card first. This is the one on my blog today. Oh my gosh, is today the 12th? I think. I'm pretty sure. June 12th. And this is on my blog today. And what I did was I took a piece of Daffodil Delight cardstock, and I stamped with different colors of sort of neutral ink pads. So this one you can see I labeled soft suede. I like to write it down because you can see here I also did it with crumb cake. I did it with the new cinnamon cider, and I I know that I will forget eventually which one is which, and so I just label it while I'm working on it. And you can also kind of see the differences here in how the ink turns out between the cinnamon cider, soft suede, and crumb cake. So you could use any of these to achieve this look. I happen to do the soft suede. So let's see, let's try this cinnamon cider one. I think this is going to be nice. Let's try that. And I'll show you how I colored it. And then I used this gold overlay on top. I thought it was really beautiful. So I have some Stampin' Blends here that I've been using. So I just kept them all in this same little bucket. This is just a Target bucket. And I just used a couple of colors on this. So I have Daffodil and Mango, and I used light Calypso Coral just for a little hint of extra color. And really, you know, it doesn't matter what order you do the colors in. It really doesn't on this, because we're not doing a ton of shading. We're just adding a little bit of color. And so I'm just gonna, let's see, this one's in my hand. It's Light Mango Melody. I'm just gonna start with that one. And all I did was start in the center, and I flicked color outwards. And you want to turn the paper rather than really turning your wrist in some uncomfortable position. That's all I did to start, just to lay down a little bit of color. And you can see already just the difference between just stamped and just adding just that much color. It's pretty amazing. Very cool. So then with the dark Mango Melody, I'm going to do smaller flicks down here at the base, but I'm also going to put a little bit of color back here in those petals that we're hiding in the back, because we want them to look like they are behind all of the other petals. And that is really the key in making this stamp look more realistic, is to add that little bit of darker color behind the top petals. And do you see already how we have lighter areas, and the dark area next to the light area is really what makes this pop? Even though we're on yellow, if we were using white, it would be even more of a contrast. And then I just like just a little bit of the Calypso Coral. Oh, this is pumpkin pie, excuse me. Calypso Coral or pumpkin pie would totally work on this. And I just did just a little bit of additional color. This one is not going to be like this huge work of art. It's just getting a little bit of color so that there is some definition behind that gold overlay. And then if you wanted to just sort of blend a little bit with the light daffodil, you can do that. Just a little bit. And that's going to kind of soften and blend those colors. Then you can see right here, what I did was I colored the leaves on one of the images, and I colored the center in the other, because when you die cut, grab this one so you see what this die cut is. So I'm using this die with gold foil paper, and that's going to get overlaid on this. So you can see now I just have like a little center here. So I colored the center separately, cut it out with paper snips, and laid it on top. And that is the 3 layers then that you get on this one. Yes, it does, Tammy. It really pops, doesn't it? Make such a big difference when you add just that little bit of darker color on those petals that are behind. It really makes the whole thing pop out. And then on this particular card, when you add that gold overlay, you're going to kind of lose a little bit of that definition, but it's okay. I mean, that is just the look of this particular design that I did. So that is really not hard, right? It's not a lot of detail. When, a lot of people say to me, oh, I can't color with the blends. I can't shade like you do. Well, you can see that was not a lot of work. It was not a lot of shading. It wasn't hard really, right? And then I would take my die. I think, does that match up right about there? Yeah. So I would cut out that one. And like I said, I used my paper snips to cut out the center. I used this die to cut out the detailed one out of gold foil paper and simply layered those three together. I also stamped the leaf image with Just Jade, that's a new in color, on Just Jade cardstock, and simply cut those out. It has this matching die, so very easy, or you could cut that by hand, either way. And then I used Just Jade on the greeting, and I used the Just Jade little in color dots to kind of pop that color, just bring in that color. Anytime you can use a color 2 or 3 times in your image, it really helps to make it cohesive. So with the soft suede in the center and the soft suede ink under here, and then the soft suede cardstock, so I've used that color 3 times. I've used the Just Jade 3 times, and then I've used this can be either like Bumblebee, Crushed Curry, Daffodil Delight, whatever you want back here, but you can see that I'm repeating that color. So repeating colors 2 to 3 times really helps bring your image or your design all together. And then I think you can see in the background here, I've actually used the embossing folder called Ornate Floral. Let's see, do I have that? Yeah, right here. Ornate Floral is embossed in white and Bumblebee, just to give it a little texture and interest, because in life the sunflowers have a lot of texture and yeah, they're not just like super flat, right? So I thought that helped to kind of pull that in together. So any questions with this one? Let's see. Oh, how were the first flowers stamped and colored? Well, okay, you're going to probably need to watch the replay because I just did that. I just stamped them. This one is soft suede. This one's cinnamon cider. This one is crumb cake. You could use any of those that you want. And I colored them with the blend. So I just went over that. So you can watch the replay on that, Sally. Oh, great. I'm glad you like that tip about repeating the color. Let's see. Could I lay the gold over the darkest? Okay, over this? Oh my gosh, that is gorgeous. That's a great idea. Look how pretty that would be. I know that's not lined up exactly, but I think you can kind of get the idea. And then let's try it on the dark soft suede. Okay, I'm not sure that I like that one as well, but I really like it on the dark cinnamon cider. You know why? I think this is why. Because cinnamon cider is a warm brown and gold is a warm tone. So to my eye, this blends really nicely. This is a cooler brown, and so that to me is not as pleasing. Maybe when it gets, all done, of course, when it's all, this is first, second, and third generation stamping, so this one's lighter. So when it's all done and it's colored, it's going to look better. But on that darker one, I think I'm liking the cinnamon cider better. So I hope that helps answer your question. Let's see, any other, I'm just checking. Yes, gold foil, Jennifer, exactly, gold foil. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the second card, and then we'll just come back at the end, and I have another card or an idea I want to show you, and then a couple more tips. So this was our first card that we just did, and if you missed all the details, you're welcome to watch the replay. So this is the second card I wanted to show you. And it's similar, except I'm using black ink. So this is a much more dramatic image, and I'm using a little bit darker coloring. And I thought it just turned out beautiful. While I'm grabbing those supplies, I just want you to see the difference of stamping with the lighter colors and stamping with the black and then coloring in. It really does make a difference, I think. A big difference. It's beautiful though. So if you're looking for instructions for this card, it's on pattystamps.com today. And then this one will be live tonight at midnight on my blog for tomorrow's post. And I will also have this on my blog tomorrow that you are welcome to print out or pin or save. And it's just basically the step-by-step of what colors I added in the 6 different layers. I listed them here. So we're just going to do that real quickly so I can show you how easy this is. But that will be on my blog tomorrow if you want to download that. So we're going to use light mango. Where'd you go? Here you are. Light mango, dark mango, light coral. Let me grab that one. Just up here. Making sure. Yep. Light coral. Then we're going to use light daffodil. We're going to use light crumb cake. I think that's this one. Oh, that's dark. Light crumb cake and dark mango. So that's the order I used. And again, really no right and wrong. And no, there's absolutely no right and wrong colors. You can use whatever you want. But just to duplicate this, I just wanted to show you what I did. The dimension in the second card. Yes, exactly. That's kind of the point of what I wanted to show you with this shading, Terry, is how to get that dimension where it really looks like I've actually layered a couple of flowers, and I haven't. It's just the coloring and doing the dark next to the light that really makes this pop. So the first thing I did was light mango. And just like on the other one, I just sort of started in the center, and I'm going to try to turn my wrist instead of the paper just so I don't make you dizzy. But just adding some color sort of in general with the light mango melody is how I started. And then I went to the dark mango melody, and sort of like we did in that first flower, you want to stay closer to the centers because they're going to be darker as the petals go in. And just look, just by doing half of that, you can already see the difference. And then putting some of the dark mango melody back here in those petals that were behind. Do you see that difference already as well? It's really amazing, and you don't have to spend a lot of time shading and coloring if you don't want to. Now, you can. I have done other flowers that take way longer than this and have way more steps, but I want to show you that you can achieve this really pretty look in not too much time and not too much effort. You don't have to spend half an hour. All right, light coral. Then we'll just, is this light? Oh, it is. Wow, that is dark, but we're going to blend it. Don't worry. So just a little bit of darkness where those petals are behind. And then light daffodil, and that's going to blend out. We're going to blend in the dark shadows. And it's almost magical. By the time you get sort of all the way around on this flower, the colors are already softening and blending, and isn't that pretty amazing? I think it is. And then light crumb cake. Now this, I'm just going to do some swirling in the center. I want to leave some sort of lighter part. You can see how that's lighter up at the top. And then I forgot, I think I actually did do a little bit of crumb cake in here before I did, excuse me, some coral before I did that, just to give that a little bit of the darkness. And then dark daffodil, we're going to do that both in the center, and we're going to just give some of these petals a little bit of extra shading. Sorry, I need to look over at your comments, but I don't want to break my concentration on this. So I will check in just a second. Okay, and then I think I'm going to come back to my light mango. Just, I don't know, just here and there. Like it doesn't, not every single petal, but just a few here and there. And I think even a little bit of this light crumb cake. I think I did that. Now I'm not remembering for sure because I made this a while ago, but when you just hit those areas that are supposed to be darker with a slightly darker shade, it really makes those areas like pop against the lighter areas. And I am pretty sure, I guess I didn't list this on my list, but I think I came in here with the dark crumb cake just to darken that center. I'm pretty sure I did. And then I think, let's try some mango on top of that. And you can see that I've left a little lighter spot there. I think that really helps just to make it kind of bright, doesn't it? The cardstock is Daffodil Delight. You could also use crushed curry, bumblebee, so saffron. It's just to make it sort of other than white. I was doing it. I have done, excuse me, I have done the sunflower on white cardstock. You'll see those on my blog coming up, but I wanted to try this on the yellow. I thought it was really amazing. Oh, thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Pam and Karen. Oh, thank you, Patty. Really, thank you, Mary. Okay, these markers, let's see, Amanda is asking how they're different. Years ago, we had what we call blendabilities, and now we have Stampin' Blends. It is basically the same idea. It's an alcohol marker. It has the two tips, so same basic idea. It's just that we had some issues with the caps not sealing as well. The markers were drying out on the old ones. So this is just a new and improved design. We've had these, I think, is it about 3 years? I think we've had these, and they color like basically like almost any other alcohol marker would. I love them. I absolutely love them. I'm just scrolling back. I want to check any of your live comments. And okay, I think I've caught up on the comments and the questions. So just here's the black image. Here we are, just a few colors, very quickly colored, did not take a long time. And then I would use my die to cut this out. You could cut it by hand. I just have to get it, well, I would rotate it to the right spot. It's somewhere around there. Hang on, oh, here it is. I'll show you what I look at to get it lined up, and maybe this tip will help you. But then you would cut it out and use it on your card. Here's the tip I have. Do you see this one? This is kind of like the biggest dip or check mark. I don't know, whatever you want to call this. And it lines up with this one. That's what I look for when I get to my die cutting machine, and it's pretty quick to line it up, to cut that. So let's see, just excuse me, checking for... Oh, Denise, I'm glad you liked it. I hope you use them more. I absolutely love using them, especially on just something quick like this. Like I said, you could easily spend hours just blending and coloring and whatnot, but you don't have to, which is the beauty of these. And I want to show you one more thing that I colored basically the same way. Check this out when you use the wood grain paper and you color on that. I thought this was pretty amazing. I haven't obviously made a card with this yet. Let's see, what is this? I'm going to tell you the official name of this designer paper because I don't remember. It is called In Good Taste, and it's on page 148. And it has lots of different patterns, like textile patterns and brick and tile and whatnot, but it has several wood grain patterns. And I really liked this idea. Some of the wood grain, I don't know if it shows on camera, but it has this real yellowy orangey tone to it. And I thought that was going to be perfect for coloring with this sunflower. Now on this one, I added a lot of brown, and I don't think that's probably very realistic for a sunflower. I like the depth and dimension, but I think this one is a little more realistic, and it's basically how we just colored this. But then you can see the difference of using a colored paper or using this wood grain. So I just thought I would show you that as well. So those were my two cards that I wanted to show you some tips on today. Again, this one's on pattystamps.com today. This one will be on there tomorrow. And I will go ahead and put links up at the top of this video. If you're watching on Facebook and if you're on YouTube, everything will be below. I'm going to hang out for a minute and answer your questions, but otherwise, if you saw the whole video, you're welcome to just go check out the blog post at pattystamps.com. But I'd love to answer your questions if you have any. So, oh yes, Robin was saying the binding on my catalog. I always like to do a spiral binding on my catalog and then clear cover on the front and just the black or, whatever color on the back. Staples did it for me. And I actually have a whole video on my YouTube channel about how I did this. And I use little Post-it flags to remind myself, like, where's the memories and more, where's the ribbon, where's the DSP, and then up here at the top, these are the sweets. So it helps me flip to that page really quickly. How do you get to my blog? Right here, pattystamps.com. That's my blog. Thank you, Margene. Oh, thank you, everyone. Good, I'm glad you enjoyed the tips. The color in the center of the flower, I just did this one. Let's see, where is this one? This one. And so we used crumb cake and we used mango and calypso in the center. And then the center of this one is the same thing, but you can read about it on my blog today. After I cut it with the scissors, the paper snips, I sponged. I use a dauber, and I sponged ink to make that edge darker. Great. Good questions. Oh, you're welcome, everyone. Let's see. Any other questions? Yes, great suggestion to mark the die and the stamp. Exactly. My YouTube is also called Patty Stamps, and you can link to it right on my blog. Yeah, it's linked in today's post. Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Oh, good question, Sharon. How did I apply the gold overlay? So we have adhesive sheets now. In fact, I think I have a pack right here. We now sell these. When I worked on this card after the pre-order, I did not have those yet. So this whole thing is actually loose. And I just used my adhesive, my regular, like Stampin' Seal or Snail or Fast Fuse, whatever you have, behind that center. Let me grab, oh dear, it flew away on my desk. Here it is. So right here, I applied adhesive and I stuck it down. So this is actually loose, and that's completely fine. It's really not going anywhere. But now, if you wanted to die cut this with the adhesive sheet, you could, and the whole thing would stick down nicely. Thank you, Sharon. That was an excellent question. Let me just see if I missed another one. Oh, good. So glad you enjoyed this. Thank you. Thank you. Really, it doesn't take a lot of effort if you wanted to just do this kind of a quicker coloring. It really doesn't have to be complicated. I'm glad you enjoyed that. What color did you stamp on the second card? On this one, it's black. So I did the memento because I'm coloring with Stampin Blends. And by the way, okay, so maybe somebody commented and I missed it, but just in case you were wondering, when we go back to this one and I showed you that I did soft suede here and cinnamon cider here, and I colored with the blends, you can do that. You can use other colors. You don't have to use memento. But if you want black, you need to use memento. So little difference in the look of stamping with a softer color and stamping with the black. Big difference, actually, right? Okay, any other questions here? Yes, I'm glad you like those Post-its on the catalog. I love that too. Okay, I think that's all the questions I see. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you'll visit me at pattystamps.com. I will have this one on my blog tomorrow. Oh, I did want to show you in the background, and this will be on my blog, but I wanted to show you this greenery embossing folder. I think just was a really pretty touch. I don't know, can you see that? Do you like that? I think it's really pretty. I really like that. And then this little sprig is from, it's called Forever Flourishing, and it's this right here. And I used the shaded spruce cardstock. I really wanted this to pop against the white, and I think it works. I really think that that's fun. And wait till you see my tip tomorrow. Might as well go ahead and tell you what I did. Okay, it's our regular linen thread, and I colored it with a shaded spruce Stampin' Blend so that I could get a green bow. How do you like that? I think that's pretty cool. I thought that was very fun. And again, all those details will be on pattystamps.com tomorrow. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Robin, Karen. Yay! Yes, your stamping lesson for the day. Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I always love when you hang out with me and we can stamp together. I hope you'll use these ideas on your projects, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.